The first song is called Meditation for the Saga. I expect a little introductory song, which is typical for Galneryus. They start off their album with an introductory song leading into the narrative of the album, as it is usually the case with these kind of power metal-y things. They sometimes try to tell a story with every album. So let's just look how it goes. I know that their guitarist, which is kind of the main leading guy, at least in current Galneryus, he kind of does those harsh screaming vocals. And he also has a history of several bands he had before. And at least in one of them, he did only harsh vocals. So he's kind of that guy who does that. They also have mostly clean vocals, but that's probably him doing that. He probably narrates something which I don't quite understand. Their songs are typically in English, as far as I'm aware of that. They have a really heavy, thick Japanese accent, so you typically don't understand what they're saying. Most of the stuff, at least. So we're gonna look into the lyrics later. We had some neoclassical stuff in the beginning with the strings and the keyboard, which kind of set already some kind of like royal themed kingdom stuff theme, you know? at least it evokes stuff like that to me. Has something elegant about it. So then this first hit with the guitar and the drums was pretty cool, and then we kind of descend a bit. It's like a micro descend into the darkness until we get into some kind of heroic part. We kind of get teased into something going down a bit. And then instantly we're going into this galloping. By the way, I just have to say, you basically know if you know, this album cover art is made by Yoshitaka Amano. I think it's the only one which is done by him. I don't know how this happened, but basically Yoshitaka Amano is the artist, illustrator guy of Final Fantasy, of the series in general. He has done a lot of iconic art, and you see his really characteristic style. I think the cover art is just a part of the music in some sense. It just adds a lot to the atmosphere, I think. Especially something like this, which is a bit of abstract, but still has these like all of those themes in it. So it's really chill at this moment with the galloping. Also, I really like this stop. It's kind of cool. yo, this bombastic kind of stuff, I really like that. Also, it's not just like bombastic, it also builds up really nicely. So here we have, we've already established some kind of melody. I think I know that melody. I don't know if it will appear later in the album or if it is just here, but it's kind of like some kind of main motif or something. It establishes this melody and then it repeats, but it adds another layer of guitar in the background. And then like the strings start to pump up, or I don't know a better word for it, but you know. That was pretty cool. So I think in terms of Galneryus in general, it didn't like blew my face off or something, but I think it was a decent introduction, and it kind of led us into the aesthetic of the album, I suppose. And now I think it would make sense to take a look at the lyrics, because I didn't understand a word, although I somewhat started to dig the sound of his voice. Actually, I was a bit surprised in the beginning, but it kind of worked, you know? So it's sometimes a bit awkward to look at the lyrics in this, because I suppose typically that they're just writing the lyrics in Japanese, and I think in Japanese they make sense, and then they're just translating it with Google Translate or something into English. And this is what turns out, I guess. So in the future, the human race is dropped in the cultural level by the strange power, and they are always in the agonizing. The ground is melted and all plants are approximately exterminated. So they're approximately exterminated. The dictator dominates all people by the fear. All hope seems to have been broken off, and all dignity seems to have been ruined. But a few warriors decide to resist, holding a raging rage. It's not a rage, it's a raging rage, and I think you hear that in his voice and in his presentation. It is indeed a raging rage. They run through with the flag of the rebellion. They have a lot of stuff going on with flags for some reason. Just keep that in mind. I don't know what they're a metaphor for, or if they just like the image of a flag being carried into battle. That could also be the case. The story begins, the revolution comes, you'll see the eternal saga of the justice. So it's in the future. It doesn't look futuristic to me, to be honest, but okay. And the ground is melted, okay, so climate change, I guess, and all the plants are approximately, yeah. Basically some kind of totalitarian global regime, some kind of tyrant at the top, and but there is rebels, especially early Galneryus, as I'm aware of. They did a lot of things themed with rebellion and stuff like that, so we're gonna see more of that. Okay, if you know anything more about this particular song, or some background information about the album or the band in this time, anything really, please post it below in the comments. I really like to learn more about Galneryus. It's always cool to hear input I have missed for some reason. Please do that, and aside from that, let's end this episode.